Hello from Jonathan and from me. Welcome to the programme.
Now, in just a few hours, millions of people around Europe will be checking their tickets to see if their lives have changed forever.
With a jackpot of £113 million, tonight's Euro Millions draw could produce Britain's biggest ever lottery winner.
Most of us can only imagine what it must be like to claim the big prize. We've been talking to the winners of two big payouts in our region and wondering what effect it's had on them. Malcolm Robertson has the report.
It could be Margaret Fox, it could be you. Today the clamour for tickets ahead of tonight's Euro Millions draw. With £113 million riding on it, this might well be a record British lottery win.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
But what about those who've already hit the jackpot? We're about to meet two people who've each won about £10 million. One of them actually bought his winning ticket here and has virtually blown the lot. What can others learn from him?
When Michael Carroll won the lottery in 2002, he seemed to have it made, the world at his feet. There were those who said he could have done with less money, more sense. He attracted the wrong headlines for antisocial behaviour and court appearances. 7 years on, the Norfolk lottery winner was today being interviewed by Croatian television. It seems his fame, or infamy, has spread far and wide. He spent the vast amount of his fortune, a lot of it on alcohol and drugs, although reports he's about to sign on the dole are exaggerated. There are no regrets.
Well, I wasted bits of it, you know what I mean? I had sponges and that, give away a lot, but I've had fun what I've had.
He's invested in a ticket for tonight and is in no doubt what he'd do with his winnings.
If I had 13 million, I'd give 50 of that to the hospital to save my daughter.
What did they do to save your daughter?
7 meningitis. And she died a couple times in the hospital in Belfast.
In Milton Keynes, Martin and Sandra White are rather more careful with their money than Michael Carroll. Last year they won more than £10 million on the lottery. It's enabled them to buy a 6-bedroom house, they bought properties for each of their 3 children, and they've also enjoyed a 5-week holiday of a lifetime in Australia. It's changed their life. They hope it hasn't changed them.
We've kept all our friends that we had before because they were such good friends anyway, but we have made some new ones, and that is through Camelot anyway. But no, we have made new friends, but yeah, our old friends are still there.
Well, hopefully you haven't treated them any differently.
Tonight's prize is more than 10 times what the Whites won. Like so many others around the country, Margaret Fox has plans if it's her.
What would you do with that?
Give it to my grandson.
Is that too much money, do you think?
Yeah, far too much money. I wouldn't know what to do with it. No, far too much.
Having been lucky once before, Michael Carroll's invested £2 in the hope of another jackpot. At the same shop in Downham Market where he came up trumps, they're hoping lightning might just strike a second time.
Good luck to you.
Malcolm Robertson, Anglia News.
It could be you, although unfortunately it's not because I have the winning ticket right here.
Actually, you don't, because I do right here, actually.
That Anglia syndicate. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Well, earlier I spoke to Ingrid Collins, who's a consultant psychologist at the London Medical Centre, and started by asking her whether she believes money can bring long-term happiness.
It can bring people long-term security if that's what they want, and if security makes them happy, then that's fine. It depends on what a person does with money, because money in itself has no meaning, it's just stored potential.
So do you think that there's a particular level of money that you can have that brings security but doesn't make it overwhelming?
That's a matter for each person to decide. Some people like just a little money, some feel that they need tons of it.
So what you're saying really is it's down to individual characteristics. So what sort of character would you have to be made happy by being rich?
Somebody who needs outward show because maybe they don't have enough wealth within them in terms of self-confidence or self-assurance. We call it a weight problem. And that means I'll wait till I have enough money, or I'll wait till I have a good job, or I'll wait till I meet Prince Charming.
And again, what sort of character would you have to be made unhappy by being extremely rich?
You would have to be pretty determined, I think, to be unhappy. But people don't realise that they have it within themselves to decide to be happy. You can be happy in a heartbeat. I'm just an old hippie.
And a very happy one, it seems. Thanks very much for your time today.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, there you are. Sound advice. Good luck if you've got a ticket for this evening. Now, let's move on to some other news now. And a man's been charged with the murder of his father after human remains were discovered at a house near Milton Keynes.
Police started investigating when neighbours of 70-year-old Samuel Alexander said they hadn't seen him for 6 months.
Well, yesterday, bones were discovered in the garden of his home in the village of Drayton Parslow. Matthew Hudson has more.
The face of law student Mark Alexander, accused of murdering his 70-year-old father Samuel and hiding the body under the family's patio. The human remains found at Prospect Close in Drayton Parslow have not yet been formally identified, but it's clear detectives believe they are those of the retired university lecturer. Mark Alexander, who is a student in London, was originally arrested on suspicion of murder and then bailed before the discovery. After the remains were found in the garden of this detached house, he was rearrested, and in the early hours of this morning, he was charged with murdering his father. He also faces 2 charges of perverting the course of justice by concealing his father's body. Originally from Egypt, Mr. Alexander moved to this pleasant village in Buckinghamshire around 20 years ago. He was a retired English lecturer who taught at De Montfort University's Milton Keynes campus before it closed. The police were contacted by concerned neighbours at the end of January. They hadn't seen him for several months. A major investigation quickly became centred on the house and garden. Today, Mark Alexander, who's 22, was remanded in custody. He'll appear at Reading Crown Court on Monday. Matthew Hudson, Anglia News, Drayton Parslow near Milton Keynes.
The Independent Police Complaints Commission is investigating the Northamptonshire Force's response to the murder of a mother of 3. 40-year-old Louise Webster was found dead at a home in Rhodes just after midnight on the 18th of January. Her long-term partner, 45-year-old Martin Ashby, has been charged with her murder. The IPCC says it'll now look at how police treated the 999 call and what resources they sent to the address.
6 people have been taken to hospital after a collision on the A11 involving a car and a police car. It happened at around 2:30 on the Norwich-bound carriageway close to Wymondham. The driver of the police car suffered neck injuries and 2 of the 5 occupants of the second car were also injured. The carriageway was closed for several hours but reopened within the last few minutes.
The company at the centre of the recent out-of-hours care debate looks likely to be taken over. Ipswich-based firm Take Care Now has been heavily criticised after a locum doctor it employed killed a man from Cambridgeshire on his first shift in this country. Last week, an inquest ruled that David Gray was unlawfully killed by Dr Janel Ubani. Take Care Now is currently in negotiations with a Watford-based company called Harmony. Now,